This is my 2014 year in music review. I didn't plan to do this. I planned to actually do a top 5 funniest things that happened in 2014 because I have laughed so hard in 2014 on so many occasions that I was sobbing, like tears, weeping. Stuff was just so funny. But the music stuffs that has happened in the past couple of weeks just forced me to really review 2014 as a crazy year for music in my life. Me, myself, personally. In no specific order, I want to say that the thing that made me decide specifically that I was going to do this is Kendrick Lamar on the Colbert Report. He did this new Untitled song. It was just so full of insanities that I was like, oh my God. Kendrick Lamar is going to outdo Good Kid, Mad City. We haven't even heard new music for real from the new album other than possibly this song, and already ain't no release date, ain't no album title, ain't no song title. We just know the song was crazy. It literally gave me chills. I have watched it on today at least 13 times. That's not an exaggeration. It isn't even afternoon on this day. I slept in my footed pajama onesie last night because I had no intentions of doing anything today. But I got up, took a shower, did something to my hair, put on some clothes, did something to my face. One eyebrow on fleek, the other one on not today. But I'm here because Kendrick, you did that. That is a thing. In 2014, I fake interviewed 2 Chainz, which is kind of a big deal. I'm so glad that 2 Chainz let me fake interview him. I wish that 2 Chainz would let me real interview him in 2015. So if anybody is like homies with 2 Chainz, we live like up the street from each other. So it's crazy that I legit have not run into him. So seriously, we need to make that happen. Crit dropped Mount Olympus, which was kind of a response in a way to Kendrick's Control verse from 2013. But he's basically like, you know, everybody calling my cell, texting me, talking about this Kendrick verse that he ain't even really even diss me on. Crit just kind of goes crazy, and by kind of I mean he legitimately just like loses his mind on this record. It's an incredible record. I love Big Crit. And he's from Meridian, Mississippi, which is where my dad is from. So it just, you know, kind of makes him just a kind of a big deal. So yeah, Isaac Robinson's Love Found Me album was released earlier this year, and Jam for the Lamb. Y'all know me as Jesus down to the ground. But the reality is I listen to a lot more ratchet music for the most part than I do anything else. But Isaac Robinson's Love Found Me album, which is Christian Contemporary, it's a really incredible album. And if you haven't heard it, I don't really know what is wrong with you. I really feel like this kid, y'all need to just invite him to your church, to your bar mitzvah, to your everything. Jhene, Aiko. I say her name wrong every single time. I have to call my best friend and ask him to tell me how do you say her last name. This is a real thing. Aiko, y'all know who I'm talking about. She has this song on her album called Ways. Why Aren't You Smiling? My jam. I am so surprised that based on the top 10 songs that Spotify said that I listened to this year, that it's not number 1. Then you got Beyonce dropped the album last December. And a year later, she dropped this video for 7-Eleven. The song isn't about anything. The video isn't about anything. But the reason that this is major for me in 2014 is because Beyonce continues to prove what I said in a video earlier this year, that she legit is just the greatest. Like ever, never has anybody ever done what she's been able to do with her music, to just drop an album and not tell nobody, to drop this song a year later and still like be relevant. In 24 hours, that video had like 7 million views. In 48 hours, there were like 13 million views. In like 72 hours, there legit were like 50 million views. Nobody can do that but Beyonce. 2-parter for J.Cole, even though this is all lumped into one thing. J.Cole had this song called Be Free that he released on his SoundCloud back in August, the beginning of September, after the Michael Brown situation that I can't even really talk about because I just sob thinking about it. And as a matter of fact, the song Be Free is so powerful that it partially, I'm getting teary-eyed right now, partially responsible for a lot of the emotion and energy in that poem that is from that last video. At that point, I just became a fan of his. And then this Negro dropped Forest Hill Drive. Like, the album is so crazy. Legit, I am a fan of his music. And then Molly Music was here in Atlanta in October. I have seen Molly before with a full band and just thought he's an incredible performer. I became even more of a Mali Music fan a couple months ago because he didn't have the full band. He just had a DJ and him and his instruments on the stage. Gave me show. Like, if I was saying he was giving me body, I mean, he was giving me body, adi. Sorry. He was giving me an incredible show. It was an incredible performance. Just literally became a bigger fan of Mali Music's in 2014. You can watch a video, this tribute to Ferguson that he did. Here is somewhere on the screen. Incredible. I don't know what that's about. The very end of September, I saw Outkast perform in Atlanta, Georgia. Honey, listen. Yeah, it was crazy. I forgot how many hits Outkast had. It was an all-day festival. It was the last day of the festival. It was Atlanta. It was Outkast. It was every single body from the South. I'm not even about to go down a list of everybody that was there. Nigga, at some point, I was shaking my Laffy Taffy. That tells you how crazy that festival was. It was just back to back to back to back to back. They performed together, and then Drake performed by himself, and then Big Boy performed by himself, and then Erykah Badu brought her crazy behind out on the stage at some point, and it was crazy. Killer Mike. I feel like this video could have been like all about this D'Angelo album, but I'm actually going to talk the least amount of time about the D'Angelo album. It was worth waiting for 14 years. I feel like after hearing that album, like I'm getting tears in my eyes just thinking about it. It's so good. It's just so good. Like 14 years, no D'Angelo, new D'Angelo music, new album, just drops it out of nowhere. Listen to it straight through. The nigga named it Black Messiah. That just kind of tell you how ridiculous it is. It legit is like, it's just crazy. So I can't even talk about it because y'all saw I legit just got teary-eyed talking about it. So I'm just going to move on. Last thing, 2014, year in music review for EbonyJanice's. Spotify did this thing where they like compiled all of my music and showed me like my music trends for the summer, the winter, the spring, and the fall. And according to Spotify, these are the top 10 songs that I have listened to in 2014, which is crazy. Number 10 was The Fever by Lecrae from his Church Clothes Part 2 album. I don't like listen to that song that many times. I guess I did. I guess I did. I just listened to it again a couple weeks ago. So yeah. And then Adele, number 9, First Love. Adele from her 19 album. Don't even ask me what that's about. Like, there's a story connected to why I was listening to that song so much. Excuse me, First Love, we are through. Bye, nigga, bye. Number 8, Kira Sheard, Reppin' My God. I think it's insane that this is in my top 10. But I did listen to it a lot this year. Number 7 is What Can I Do? Ty Tribbett from his album. This is like released this album like 2 years ago and it is still. Number 6 is Kira Sheard's Flaws. And I do understand why this is in my top 10 because I listened to that a lot. Like, because I needed to remind myself that God doesn't see my flaws as flaws at all. So 5 is Beauty for Ashes, Ty Tribbett. That makes sense. Again, I realized that I was listening to that song a lot and I have been for the past, 2 years at this point. Tamia's Last First Kiss somehow slid itself from 19 years ago into my top 10 songs on Spotify in 2014. But I was going through something, y'all. I was. That's not a thing anymore, though, so. Mali Music's Walking Shoes is number 3. I'm song obsessive, so at some point I remember just putting that song on repeat, and I probably listened to it every day straight for like 2-3 weeks. It ain't no telling. I don't have a piece of sense when it comes to listening to a song. I get in a zone and I just go there. But I got my walking shoes on. Number 2, Little Lady, Mali Music. That makes sense. All you can count on is yourself, little girl. Thank you, Nina Simone. Appreciate that. Incredible song. Number 1 song also slipped its way in from like 6-7 years ago. Not even that long ago. But Chrisette Michele, Love Is You. That's the number 1 song that I listened to in 2014. I don't know. I actually do know why I was listening to that song so much. The same reason that Tamia's Last First Kiss is in my top 5. And the same reason that Adele's First Love is in my top 10 is because there was a ridiculous man that tried to conjure himself into my life from like years ago, try to bring himself back. So take yourself on up out of here. Ain't nobody thinking nothing about you. Don't nobody want you. Apparently I did because I was listening to these songs on repeat, but that's neither here nor there. You can get out my business, all up in my business, asking me all these questions. I get. Listen, guys, there's stuff that I ain't even talk about because this nigga Prince like released an album this year. So, like, it's a gang of stuff that I just didn't even acknowledge. It was a good year for music, though. 2014 was just it was a pretty cool year. Ain't nothing fantastic happened. I didn't get a boyfriend or anything. Did I have any good kissing in 2014?